Good morning, it's your man Earl. It is Tuesday, November 7th, episode 311. We are doing 30 straight days of sales training. People who are entrepreneurs, people who are wanting to start a business, people who are wanting to increase their revenue. And guess what, guys? We're not talking about trying to put together some elaborate marketing plan or some advertising campaign. Listen, that's for 2024. What we're talking about now is moving customers and clients through the cash register in these last 2 months of the year. Why? It's the holiday shopping season. All right. And for those of us who are merchants, entrepreneurs, service providers, we make no apologies for understanding the sales cycle. All right. So 7 straight days of getting past no, 30 days of sales tips, trainings, concepts, hidden secrets that it has taken me pretty much. I've been in business for myself now for half my life. I started when I was very young in my 20s, and I've been in business for myself now half my life. So, a lot of what you hear has been gleaned, a lot of what you hear has been taught to me by other sales professionals and trainings, and a lot of what you hear I have read in books upon books because I am a student of my industry. So, with that being said, episode 311. Yesterday we talked about everybody's not your customer and client. Today we're talking about defining your customer and client. So, once again, not going to get too deep. I just want to introduce you to these things and so you can start the path of education for yourself. A lot of people want the easy way, which I do not suggest. A lot of people want things given to them, which I do not suggest. Why? Because if things fall apart, you have to have the ability to rebuild them. And the only way you can have the ability to rebuild them is if you must know how to do it yourself, or you have to know where to get the answers from. So my goal, my objective with this channel, for the most part, is to enlighten you on things that you need to do research on yourself. All right. And if you DM me, if you text me, if you have my number, if you call us, we may set up something later on. And of course, as a consultant, you're going to have to pay me. All right. Because nothing in life is for free. Somebody has to pay for what you have gained knowledge in. So this is my free give back to you. Now, how to get past no. The goal in sales is to reduce the no's as best you can. Now you can't avoid them because once again, everybody's not your customer, everybody's not your client. But the goal is to become as effective and as productive as you can. And you start out by understanding who is your customer and who is your client. I'm going to say it again. You start out in business. Obviously, you create something. Now it's time to take that product or service to the marketplace. And now you have to decide who is my customer, who is my client. And a lot of times we get frustrated because we think that your family is your customer and your client. You think your friends are your customer and your client. You think your classmates are your customer and your client. You think your in-laws are your customer and client. And guess what, guys? It's nice if they support you out of the pain and misery of this is my son or this is my daughter or this is my husband's wife or this is my wife's husband. And so guess what? I'm eating at this restaurant even though the food is nasty. I'm still supporting. But guess what? They're not your customer and your client. Your customer and your client are the people who actually enjoy what you cook. Your customer and your client are the people that actually come into your store because you are providing for them something that they need, want, or desire. So don't confuse, and once again, don't get angry when the people who you think are your customer and your client are not. And that's because you haven't done the work to determine who best is serviced by your product or service. All right? And that, my friends, could take a year. It could take 2 years. It could take trial and error. All right? Now, really quickly, who's your customer? Who's your client? Getting past no. Episode 311, once again, who's your client? Who's your customer? Getting past no. Let's define it really quickly. Who and what is a meaning of a customer or a client? Okay? Listen very closely. In a capitalistic society, which is what we live in, okay? A customer or a client, or if you're doing business to business, a buyer or a purchaser. For example, when I sell sauce, I'm going to another business, which is a grocery store or a wholesaler. They are what's known as a buyer or a purchaser. And guess what? These people obtain a product or a service from me, being a seller or a vendor or a distributor, which is a supplier. And there is a financial exchange for the product or the service or some other valuable consideration, aka consulting. So people pay for a customer or a client is somebody who pays for what you are selling via financial transaction, a monetary exchange, or some other valuable consideration, aka bartering. Okay? You have a car, I have a furnace, we barter for that. All right? I have books, you have ink pens, and guess what? You want uh, 2 cases of my books, and I need 2 cases of ink pens. So we barter. Okay? It's a customer or a client. All right. And sometimes you're going back and forth from a business to another business, which is called B2B sales. All right. How to get past no, defining and understanding your customer and your client. The goal is to reduce those no's as productively and profitably as you can. So you got to know who your customer and client is. God bless you. God keep you. Episode 311, part 3, Getting Past No. Peace.